15 miles north of London, at the Royal Palace of Hatfield in Hertfordshire, Anne's 2.5-year-old daughter, Princess Elizabeth, plays with her nurse. Like all royal children, she was removed from court as a baby and established in her own household, away from the polluted air of the city. It is unlikely Elizabeth was close to her mother, whom she's seen only during an occasional visit. But now, with her death, Anne is about to affect not just her daughter's life, but the whole course of history. Within the walls of the Tower of London, a 4-foot-high wooden scaffold has been specially erected. Henry has decided Anne should not be executed as female traitors traditionally are, by being burnt at the stake. He's even spared her the crude hacking of the Tower of London axeman. Instead, Henry has paid 100 crowns for the executioner of Calais to travel to London and to behead his wife with a sword. Anne makes the short journey from the royal apartments. She catches her first sight of the scaffold. There's now no chance it's just been a test from Henry. Around 1,000 people have gathered to watch her execution, including Thomas Cromwell. But Chapuis, the Spanish ambassador, who's chronicled so many events in Anne's life, will not see her die. Such a public conclusion to the breakdown of a royal marriage is not something Cromwell wants England's enemies to witness. And last night, he ordered Kingston to throw all foreigners out of the tower. Anne mounts the scaffold.
May I have leave to speak?
Following the etiquette of state executions, she then requests Kingston's permission to speak to the crowd.
Good Christian people, I am not here to preach a sermon. I am here to die. For according to the law, and by the law, I am judged to die, and therefore I will speak nothing against it. I am come hither to accuse no man, nor speak of that whereof I have been accused and condemned to die. But I pray God, save the king, and send him long to reign over you. For a gentler, nor a more merciful prince there never were. To me, he was a good, a gentle, and a sovereign lord.
Anne is careful not to show any defiance, which could have consequences for her family. But she also makes no admission of her guilt, and word later gets round that she has died boldly.
And thus I take my leave of the world, and of you all. And I heartily desire you all pray for me.
Eyewitnesses comment on the obvious distress of the ladies in waiting. Finally, Anne's plight has won their sympathy. The executioner is paid £20 to ensure a merciful death. Anne kneels down in front of him.
Jesus, receive my soul.
She keeps looking nervously behind her, worried he's going to strike before she's ready.
Jesus, receive my soul.
But the executioner is prepared. and signals to his assistant to distract her attention
Oh, Lord God.
before grabbing his sword from the straw.
Oh, Lord God, take pity. Jesus, receive us. Oh, Lord God, take...
With her lips still moving, Anne Boleyn, the Queen of England, is beheaded. Henry is at Hampton Court when he hears the signal gun which tells him Anne is dead. He immediately rides to see Jane Seymour. The following day, they are secretly betrothed, and 10 days later, they are married. After the execution, it is the ladies-in-waiting who carry Anne's body the 70 yards from the scaffold to the Tower of London's chapel. They lay her in an elm chest, originally intended to transport a consignment of arrows to Ireland. She's buried in the chancel in an unmarked grave. Two years later, Jane Seymour dies after giving birth to the son Henry has always craved. Cromwell is asked to find the king a new wife, but his choice, Anne of Cleves, is an unmitigated disaster. Cromwell falls out of favour and is forced to face heresy charges that will later send him to the scaffold. After her mother's death, Princess Elizabeth is declared illegitimate, and for the next 20 years her future remains in doubt. But finally, on the 17th of November 1558, Anne Boleyn's daughter enters the gates of the Tower of London and is crowned Queen Elizabeth I. She goes on to become one of England's most successful monarchs.